Now that it has been a couple months for people, including myself, to take in what they think of the Diamond, Pearl, not Platinum remakes, what do we think? Generation 4 are a lot of people's first Pokemon games. Mine were Yellow and the subsequent Gen 1 remakes. But the first Pokemon game my young self ever finished was Pokemon Pearl for the DS, given to me by a friend, so I have some pretty good memories attached with that generation. Let's get the question out of the way. Are the remakes good? Well, did you enjoy the original Diamond and Pearl? Because if you did, then these are exactly the same. And let me say that again. These games are exactly the same. And we'll talk about that. When the trailers and the advertisements for this game came out, people, including myself, were a little concerned. For starters, unlike most remakes, these weren't using the current generation's graphics. Like, they do during battles, kind of, but the rest of the game are these little chibi models that resemble the original sprites from the DS game. And you know, so what? At least as time went on, the game looked really nice, despite its chibi sprite nature. But what was going to be the big difference between these games and the original? What role was Giratina going to play this time? What role will Arceus have this time around, since a few months after this game comes out, the new Pokemon game featuring him will be released? And as more trailers got released, it definitely looked better in terms of graphics. Not the models obviously, but the actual renders and lighting saw improvements. But the actual game, it did not look any different to the game I played back in 2007. But I held out hope anyways, that it was going to have something totally unexpected and it was going to blow me away. This game had a new lead developer in Ilka, with help from Matsuda, the lead director from the other games, and I was warming up to the chibi models a little. Well, the games finally came out, and what we got was this. I don't even know where to begin with this thing. Let's start with the game's story, and spoiler, I forgot how unfulfilling the story is in Diamond and Pearl. So, if you've never played the original Gen 4 games, the story basically goes simply like this. We are in the distinct Pokemon region of Sinnoh, a region that is much colder than others like Kanto or Hoenn, which is shown much clearer in the 2009 game, Platinum, but anyways, characters are wearing scarves, boots, heavy coats, the likes, a region surrounded in mystery and myths. And the main character, you, the player, are one of the inhabitants here, and you have just finished watching a program about a red Gyarados. You go to see your best buddy, Megamind, and because he's loud and you love him, you go along with his plan to go to your local lake to see if you can find a Pokemon like the one you saw on TV. You don't, and you get attacked by wild Pokemon. Thankfully, the old man who was here before you forgot his enormous briefcase that no actual human would actually forget at a lake, and that briefcase has 3 different Pokemon that you can choose from to defend yourself with. Conveniently. And when that old man returns for his briefcase, he doesn't care that you took his Pokemon. No, and instead of being punished for stealing them, you're instead rewarded by just keeping them and are given a Pokedex to set out on a journey. Professor Rowan just has this keen, sixth sense about you and your friend, and after your mom wishes you, a child, her best wishes, you set out on your adventure. And from here, you go and discover big cities and new towns. You and your rival, Megamind, are both taking on the Sinnoh League, taking on gym leaders and earning gym badges to eventually take on the championship. In doing so, you come across the nefarious Team Galactic. They are an organization about changing the world for the better, and through the context of this game, they used to specifically be an organization about changing the world through the discovery of a new type of energy, but changed somewhere along the way thanks to their enigmatic leader of the team, Cyrus. Now, I would love to dive into the character of Cyrus, because I actually like him, but I forgot this is a Diamond and Pearl remake, and having any influence from Platinum is frowned upon immensely. So, Cyrus and his organization are changing the world because this world sucks? Because humans suck? You know, which is true, but physically changing the world can only be done by something like a god. And luckily, Sinnoh is the prime location for that. Once in a while, you will have to curb some Team Galactic's efforts because stealing and hurting Pokemon isn't so cool. This all reaches its climax when Team Galactic does summon a godlike Pokemon to change the future. But you're a kid with eyes of silver and victory. You beat all the commanders one last time, including the leader Cyrus himself, and then, as a homage to the end of the original Star Wars trilogy, they just kind of leave. No joke, there are no consequences nor resolutions to Team Galactic or Cyrus after this. Why? Because that's a Platinum thing. Don't like it? Too bad. And then, like every Pokemon game, you go on with your life, beating the rest of the gym leaders, participating in contests, and living without a care in the world, even after taking down an evil organization and controlling the very being that rules over time. You know, Pokemon things. And then you beat the best champion in the Pokemon series, Cynthia, and fulfill your destiny. So you know, typical Pokemon game. Nothing wrong, right? Well, yeah. The game is Diamond and Pearl to a T, and the question is, why? Like, this was the story, but do we even need to talk about the gameplay? I'll get to the few major changes, but all in all, like I said at the beginning, this game is just Diamond and Pearl, but for the Nintendo Switch in HD. If you take this for what it is, it's fine. If you like Diamond and Pearl, you will like this one, but it shouldn't be. Towards the end of the marketing for this game, it became very clear that this game was going to be a faithful remake to Diamond and Pearl. And boy is it, but why is it just that? This should have been way much more than it is, and the reason I and everyone else has this expectation is because every single remake has been much more than what their original games were. Fire Red and Leaf Green were the first to do it, and what's the big difference between those and, let's say, Yellow? Kanto never looked better than ever. It had current generation mechanics and graphics, which is saying a lot compared to the original games. It had a lot going for it, but let's not mention the upgrade because GBA Remakes had a lot going for it since they were remakes of the originals, which had a ton of room for improvement. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are games and remakes that people love to death. Why? They were remakes of the second generation and improved on everything. The graphics obviously look incredible. Implementation of Crystal was added. Pokemon from every generation up to that point are available to get added more to the post-game. More quality of life changes and moments were added, like summoning Ho and Lugia. And finally, one of the masses' favorite additions, having Pokemon follow behind you properly. There are more additions, but what did these remakes improve upon? They added Pokemon following, but did it just as well as Sword and Shield did. They added multiple costumes, which is nice, I guess, but they're not customizable like they have been in Swishy. They improved the underground immensely, and it's great. Finding Pokemon statues and discovering Pokemon down there is so fun. Easily my favorite change in the remakes. HMs are gone, but TMs break again like they did in Gen 4. Okay, whatever. Did they implement the third version like the Gen 2 and 3 remakes did? No, not at all. They didn't. Team Galactic are less intimidating, Cyrus doesn't have a good ending, Cynthia doesn't feel like a mentor, the atmosphere isn't cold and ominous like Platinum, and big moments are not changed and or enhanced. Like, is this actually a remake, or is this just a remaster? The famous scene where Rayquaza comes down and calms Groudon and Kyogre did not get remade into cool 3D beauty, but he had an entire post-game dedicated to him. Now, that section was not the best, but it was a section that had its own lore and story elements that focused solely on Rayquaza. What Platinum elements are... Oh my gosh! They have a Shadow Giratina fight that's a boss fight and it has its own unique area that looks amazing that you fight him in. That is so cool. I just die. Wait, Mewtwo is also fight in the Distortion world, and so is Ho and Rayquaza. Oh, come on. Whatever. While that boss fight is really cool, why isn't there a bigger moment for it? That's it? No, like Cynthia asking you for help to help her investigate something that you go to the Distortion world somehow. Cynthia is a huge nut job about discovering the secrets and legends in Sinnoh. It would make sense for her to do that. And then Cyrus finds out about it somehow or something, and then at the end you fight Shadow Giratina and then it reverts back to its original look and Cyrus gets a proper send-off like a cool Distortion or distorted episode. No. The problem this game has with not having any elements carried over from Platinum is that Platinum was already a better version of these games. Not including elements from an already improved version of Diamond and Pearl makes these games feel very underwhelming. You know what would have circumvented this? Gen 8 stuff. Now, I don't mean like Dynamaxing, but actual full-size models so we can see these areas and characters like they've never been seen or experienced before. There could have been a whole wild area-esque feel to the game between towns at certain points, or make the gym battles feel more epic like they did in both Swishy and Let Go. But no. Faithful remake! This game could have been so much more than what it is, and some people shrug it off as it's staying faithful to the original Diamond and Pearl. And it shouldn't. It's a legitimate problem. If they weren't going to change moments or aspects, then it should have Platinum stuff incorporated, like, I don't know, the other Pokemon remakes? At least when I put the Platinum outfit on, I can squint my eyes and tell myself this is more like Platinum. There's nothing wrong with being remakes of DP, but why not implement anything from the superior version of those games, or just improve on stuff anyways like the other remakes did, or just remakes in general? Now, I glossed over the place called Ramanas Park, I believe it's pronounced. Basically a place where you can catch all the main legendaries from the past generations. Up to 4, obviously. Not counting the lesser legends, why do you fight all the main legends in the Distortion world? Not only does it make the Shadow Giratina feel less significant, but it comes off as lazy. Like, look at the places you find their encounters! Why do we not just fight them in here? They look so cool. Again, the underground is the best improvement in this game and adds a lot of team variety, but do I need to mention the amount of grinding you need to do to even obtain these items to catch the legendaries? Cause it sucks. Because of the EX share being permanent, I ended up with a team of 10 to 12 to not be overleveled. It was genuinely fun to have such a big and diverse team of Pokemon I never used in Pearl or Platinum. It's really hard to describe how much that really increased my overall enjoyment of this game, and the underground really is so fun to catch these Pokemon that weren't originally in PD before the post game, and the areas that you find them in are such a nice treat. Like, it really, I can't stress how much of a good part of that game it is. Contests are back, and they are not like what you do in the originals. There's no move show-off selection anymore, and instead is this completely ridiculous rhythm game that doesn't even feel like it's on beat. I hated them, but that's only because I did it with a Pokemon for every category without maxing out their contest rating, because Sheen and Poffins are stupid. But it was nice to see that you get to face off against your mom, the 5th gym leader, and even Jasmine from Johto. It was cool. And that was basically all the major new stuff. Yeah. So again, are the remakes of Diamond and Pearl good games? Sure. I put about 60 hours in, so there's definitely something that's there to be enjoyed. As just a game, yeah, but as remakes, they fail in so many aspects. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition feels more like a remake than these games do, and that game is just supposed to be a remaster. Remakes like both the Metroid remakes, Zero Mission and Samus Returns, or the RE remakes, are what remakes should strive to be. Big moments are changed to have even more of an impact, story is the same but fleshed out more, gameplay is changed to fit recent titles or completely changed to improve the remakes, and finally, look like games that are released on the recent hardware. Even if you like the chibi models. I'm sorry. Now, I won't bring up the obvious mega remake that came out most recently, since Final Fantasy VII Remake is more than just a remake. But even still, it checks out all of the boxes that those other remakes do and more. I'm sorry, but Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl or BP do not do enough of these changes or any at all sometimes. Would I play these over the original Diamond and Pearl? Yeah, easily, so fast. They do accomplish what most remakes are supposed to do, and that's make the superior version of the game this new remake. But guess what? There already is a game that does that, and it's called Pokemon Platinum for the DS. I still think that Platinum is the definitive way to play Generation 4 of Pokemon. I think that Generation 3 remakes got just as much flack like these games do, and most people would rather just play Emerald instead. But I feel that to an even greater extent with these games. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl aren't bad games. They're not, but as remakes, they faithfully fail in making them feel like games that are different from the originals at all. They should feel like the originals, but as a new experience, and these games don't deliver on that front. The nostalgia trip was nice, it was, but not when I remember the nostalgia I have from a better game not being in these. If you have never experienced the mystical region that is Sinnoh, then, well, I would say play Platinum. But buying that game nowadays is sure to leave a cramp in your wallet and self-esteem. This game is a great way to experience that for the first time, but it could have and should have been a better first experience. Platinum isn't even my favorite Pokemon game. That's the Black and White series. But it certainly has my favorite region and set of legendaries. These remakes will be remembered as games that are almost no different from their originals. It had a fun underground section, a surprisingly difficult Elite Four and champion, and odd chibi models. It will be remembered as the one remake that got no new character designs, no new gameplay changes, no new story section, and no change whatsoever at all. And I just wish an interesting region like Sinnoh that contains so much lore and history about the world of Pokemon got more attention and better treatment in its remakes. And it not is just really a disappointment.